What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, and she is an amazing entrepreneur, businesswoman. She is teaching realtors how to make multiple seven digits with the power of social media marketing. #1 realtor in Michigan, 700 plus agents on Team GoGo, brokered by EXP. Help us welcome GoGo Bethke. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate you taking time to come on here. How's everything been?
It's amazing. I'm kind of sick of being home, working from home. I'm so done with
It's terrible.
The season, right? Well, we are planning on moving to Florida. I'm in Michigan now, so there isn't really much we can do outside, right? So I just work and then get to the end of Netflix, and I'm done with that.
Well, what part of Florida? Because we're in Miami.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So we are building in Odessa, way far from the sky. So a little 25 minutes north from Tampa.
Nice. And what are you planning?
But it's nice weather than up here. So.
That's for sure. So GoGo, if you can give us a little bit of background of yourself, how did you get into real estate, and explain to our audience how you're such a mogul in this space?
Oh, gosh. Thank you. Well, I started out as a broke agent, like everybody, right? Unless, I don't know, maybe some people did that. Maybe some people came into real estate with money. I wasn't one of those. Originally from Romania. I moved to the US in 2003. I came as an au pair. I did all kinds of odd jobs. I have no college education or such in the US. So I did anything from like working in a warehouse to plastics department. I have a restaurant food safety certification. I've been a food auditor. I've been a babysitter, an au pair, like worked in a jewelry store, like you name it, I did it. And then in 2011, our neighbor here is the marketing director for a title company. And she thought I would make a great realtor. And I was a stay-at-home mom at that time. And I was like, what a great idea. I watch HGTV all day. I can do that. Like, how simple, right? To show 2 houses and they buy one. Like, come on, can't be that hard. So I went and got licensed. She recommended me to a brokerage called Real Estate One, and they even they offered to pay for my school. So by far, my investment in becoming a licensed agent is zero. They paid me back for the $199 that I invested. They paid me back in my very first closing. And that was it. And I just kind of stuck it out. I'm the sorest loser you ever meet. And didn't realize, I guess, getting into it, how hard it truly is, right? If you have no sphere and if you have no money, like, where are these leads? Like, who's going to buy a house with me or sell a house with me? But I interviewed all the top producing agents in the office. And very quickly, I realized that I am not willing to cold call. My name is GoGo. Right? Like, I was that. Plus, I had a much worse accent than I have today. Right? So I'm like, what is that going to sound like on the phone? Like, no, thank you. Plus, it's against my religion to beg people for their businesses. I'm not doing that. Farming an area I couldn't afford. Door knocking. I'm like, hell no, I'm 5'2", little blondie, stranger danger. I'm not doing that. So I pretty much eliminated everything. And that left me with really nothing, or buying Zillow leads. Like, I interviewed an agent and she was paying at that time $4,000 a month. And I was like, I just want to make $4,000. Like, I don't have $4,000 to spend. And so eliminating all that, I realized the only thing I'm left with is social media, because I had to work with strangers because I didn't know anyone, right? And I'm like, where are the strangers? And they were on Facebook at the time. So I started GoGo's Real Estate on Facebook and just kind of snowballed from there. 11 years of posting multiple times a day into feed and stories. And today they call me the social media queen of real estate, but it's an overnight success of about 60. One time I did the math. Right now, we are probably over 70,000 times I posted to have what I have today.
Amazing. Wow. Amazing. And I love that because Bryan's primarily, his strength is in the real estate side, and I'm from the social media side of things. So I'm glad we're having this conversation, because the first thing I want to ask you is, when you took the approach to say, this is the angle of how I'm going to get my leads, what was the first thing that you did, or what's the first thing you recommend for other people out there to do, whether it's a real estate agent or somebody else in another industry, going and using social media as a lead generating tool?
Yeah. So I think back in the day, I was probably the first one, if not some of the first people that have a business page, right? So at that time, it was kind of crazy, and people looked at me funny, like, oh, there's GoGo again taking another selfie, right? But I always knew that it's going to pay the bills. But also you have to keep in mind that it's the truth and only the truth. because you cannot fluff the numbers on social media, right? Whatever is going on, you have to own it. So I like to call it the good, bad, and the ugly. You also have to realize that those few people that do know you, they know that you bring you, right? The other people don't. So you can kind of play with the idea, right? You don't have to necessarily announce it that I'm a brand new agent. You can take them along the ride of becoming that top producing agent. And that's what I did. It's like I would interview people. One of my best advice is don't ever eat alone, right? So I would go and interview title companies and lenders and appraisers and pretty much everybody, because we don't get training in that. But somehow I'm supposed to advise my client on the landing of which type of loan they should freaking go and qualify for when I've never had as much as a minute training on it. Right. So then I would go and interview all the lenders so I can learn about the different type of mortgage types, like the VA loans and the new construction and the vacant land and the yada, yada. Right. So I would do that. And then I would learn something that day. And then I would make a video about it. Guess what I learned today, guys? Did you know that blah, 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 blah. Right. And I would make a post about that. And the more you share knowledge, the more that information comes out on your mouth, it just automatically makes you the expert. So over time, even though I was taking them along of the ride of me learning, right? But through my knowledge that I accumulated, I taught them, and that made me the expert. So just own up to the truth, and then stay consistent at it. Show your hustle, show your work ethic, because that's what people are going to truly get to know you, and then one day choose you to be their professional. If not everybody who's listening here is a realtor, right? And that's it. It's really that simple.
And it's great that you bring that up, because it is simple, but a lot of people lack consistency. And especially when it comes into real estate, you have all these new trends and all these new things that come up, and everybody sees the shiny object syndrome. Oh, I'm going to do this to get leads and do that. For social media, and let's say you get an agent who's brand new, who has no idea how to leverage it, what would be the best steps, or what's the approach for them to use social media to bring in leads for their business? Do they do paid ads? Do they do DM outreach? Like, what is the way that they can really generate business for themselves?
So all of those that you mentioned are great ideas. Now, I don't run ads. So two things about me. I don't like to spend money. I like to make it. I like to spend it. So if there's an organic
who out there likes
way,
to spend money, huh?
My husband does. So we are perfect for each other, right? Because if it wasn't for him, we would never have a nice car. We would never have like nice stuff, because I don't do that, right? It's just not in my wheelhouse. But with that being said, one of the lessons that it took me the longest to learn is you have to spend money to make money. So that took me the longest time. Even though I still don't practice it, I do know that lesson. Now I'm at the point where my accounts reach over 2 million organically a month. So why to throw money at it unless I really want to build a massive team, right? And that's not in it. I also don't want an adult daycare, right? I don't want to have a mega icon team and babysit grown-ass adults, excuse my French. So you kind of have to meet yourself where you at. If you need more leads, there's no reason why you shouldn't be running ads. But here's the thing that you have to think about. You can accumulate those leads at a certain price, right? Or you can build an organic following, and that same lead is going to cost you less. So in my opinion, you should do both. You should build your base organically, right? And periodically you should throw some money at it. $5 a day, $10 a day, and run some ads. Number one. Number two, you have to have a lead capturing ability. Most companies will give agents, I'm talking to realtors now, will give agents a live, a website with a live IDX. It sounds so fancy, right? Which means is that I can go on your site and I can search for homes. But you don't have the ability to capture my information unless I physically type it in there. I put in my email, I put in my name, and I put in my phone number, right? That's stupid. Because most people are smart enough nowadays. I am not giving you my name and email address. I'm just going to search, and then I'm going to go bye-bye. So you have to have a lead capturing ability if you want to do, the social medias nowadays. And so for that, we use KV Core. KV Core is a website. Everybody can get it. I'm with EXP. It's a part of our monthly fee that we pay. I don't know how much they charge, but whatever they charge, it's worth it. Because you get to capture who's looking at your stuff. So you don't just post to post. You post to see, Jessica Smith looked at 123 Main Street, right? Jessica looked at the open houses this weekend. Jessica she wants to know how much her home is worth. So now, and Jessica never gave me her name or email address. All she did, she logged in with Facebook. Because we have that button, log in with Facebook if you want to see the rest of the photos, right? Jessica's going to be like, I am not giving you my name and email address. I'm just going to log in with Facebook. Guess what you give to Facebook?
Her information.
And Facebook is so nice and shares it with us.
The power.
So you need to You need to have Big Brother. So we don't just post to post, right? You post, especially in your feed on Instagram, for example, you cannot do a link. So you're going to take that post, you're going to post it into your stories where now everybody can do a link. It used to be that you had to have 10,000 followers to do a link. You don't have to do that anymore. So now anybody can post a link. Your job is to generate traffic to that listing because you want to sell it. Mm-hmm. Your job is to generate traffic to that event because you want to invite people to your Buyers 101 or Agents Be Aware or whatever event that you are throwing, right? So your job as the marketer is to take traffic from one side, because what Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn and all of these, the Zillows, what they're good at generating traffic, right? And then Zillow, for example, going to sell that lead back to you that they generated with your own listing. That's a whole other conversation. So with that, right, your job is to use these platforms that generate traffic organically to generate that traffic over to another page so that you can capture their information. So that's what I would do. Yes. I would post organic stuff, and I would also have a lead capturing website. And then I would also throw some money at Facebook ads so you can grow both at the same time.
I'm glad that you bring that up because a lot of agents in this industry have built their business on Zillow leads. And the sad part is that, and Anthony and I talk about this, you're putting in easily $10,000, $4,000 a month into this lead generation system. You're not promoting yourself in that community. No one knows who you are. There's no guarantee that you're going to get that lead. And then they're selling it to you at a premium. And then on top of that, if you don't own that zip code, and somebody else comes in it, they just bumped you out of that. And you're still paying the $10,000, but now you're getting less leads. So it's funny that you bring this up because it's a very smart strategic way to approach it, having the organic and the KV core. But a lot of agents get into that shiny object syndrome and they start dumping money into Zillow. And to be honest with you, I like
not only that,
money.
But I can't imagine the feeling knowing that your business depends on a third party.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I hope they send me a lead. I hope they send me a lead. I hope they send me a lead because I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills this month.
No control.
Like, you know what the problem is? The problem is a lot of people don't want to put the legwork.
Yes.
Like but here's the thing: you can give Zillow $4,000 a month, or you can take $400, 10 times less, right? And get more leads off of your own Facebook that Zillow will ever give you for $4,000.
And you're building your brand.
And you're building your brand.
That's the most important thing. You're building your personal brand.
Yeah.
And nowadays,
I always say, learn to fish. Don't ask for a fish. Learn to fish, because you'll never worry about where the food's going to come from ever again.
Amen.
Build that skill set. Build that skill set. I love that we're talking about this because it is such a factor that I would say in real estate or in other industries, you see it being such a big problem where people do rely too much on third-party platforms to solely bring them leads and then hopefully convert them into clientele. But in reality,
they also have like a 25 and a good year. They have a 25% profit. Not me.
Yeah, because you poured into, first of all, here's the other thing. Social media is free. It's free. I say it all the time. Guys, it's free and you have more access to people than some of these third-party platforms where you're paying a ton of money, especially when you're starting and you don't have it. It's free. You got to just create content, and you got to be consistent with it. You have to. And here's another thing, and I want to get your take on it, what's worked for you. But I always say, too, testing is another big component. Testing and experiment. What kind of content hits for your client, for your audience? You know, is it more reels? Is it more carousels? Is it more this? Is it more that? Where do most people hang out? In your stories or on your profile grid? There's so many things that we can go into that. But I want to get on your take. What have you seen worked for you, especially in the real estate space, when it comes to the content? What would you say is the content that sticks out the most to your audience?
I mean, first of all, when I say Instagram or Facebook, I mean business page. I do not do personal or private accounts. If you're doing that, you always like a private account. Somebody said it this way, and I was like, genius, right? A private account is like winking at a girl in the dark, hope that she notices. Why would you even be posting on a private account? Nobody sees it. You locked it.
Switch to public.
Switch to public and make it business. So, or creator is kind of the same thing. So that's very important because when you have business or creator, right, you have what's called insights. So again, we don't post to post, we post because we know who's looking at it, what time of the day, are they man or woman, how old are they, where are they located. So for example, because I have insights, I know that my best days and best times are Tuesdays and Wednesdays between noon and 3:30. If something's very important, so let's say I'm promoting an event, right, where we are actually having one in Nashville, there's a couple seats left. If I'm promoting that, right, I would be posting it on Tuesday or Wednesday. because I know that's when the most eyeballs are going to be seeing it. If I posted it on Sunday evening, might as well not even post it, because my account at that time is dead, because mine is business, right? So nobody's doing freaking real estate Sunday night. They're spending the time with their kids and their families and their friends and watching Netflix. They're not on Instagram trying to learn something new. So by having insight and knowing your audience, you know exactly what to post and when to post it. But then you also know what not to post. Because you might get the great idea of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. It's so cool. It's so fun. And then you have 2 likes on it and you're like, oh, well, that didn't go well as I was thinking, right? So that's the good thing with insights, that you get to see it. So then you get to make the decision of what's working for you and what's not. Even though reels are a good thing and Instagram is pushing them, right? It's like the TikTok of Instagram. I'm not an artistic person, and I'm not like, I can't dance or learn choreography or sing to a tone, right? Like it's not my cup of tea. So that's not for me. So I create videos that are literally a talking video, right? With some pop-up boxes or something like that, maybe. But most of the time it's just me talking, and it allows me to put a filter on my face for all the way up to 1 minute. So I don't have to wear makeup like today, right? And still look good on the video. So you just kind of have to see where you fit in and what is your cup of tea, and then just go back to the insights and see, okay, should I continue doing this or not? So for example, quotes, I love quotes, because quotes changed my life. So every 6 posts, if you go look at my feed, it used to be quotes. Now every 6 posts is an interview style video, but I change it up all the time. So even though they did the worst on my page, right? Like they didn't do very well on my page, I still did it because it's important to me. Quotes changed my life. I didn't do it because thousands of you were like, oh my gosh, this is such a good quote, right? No, I did it because it's important to me. Even though looking at insight, I shouldn't continue doing that because it's really not working, but I did it because it's important to me, right? So whatever you're at, sometimes you might continue doing things just because you like it and it's important to you. But sometimes you look at your insight and you're like, well, I shouldn't be doing more of that because it's really not getting me the results that I'm expecting.
It's so true when you said that. And I'll tell you right now that I think it is very important to obviously, number one, you always want to make sure that you're creating content that's going to hit your audience and you can create conversion, especially for running a business. But I always say it's very important to do content that's also meaningful and fulfilling for you, and also shows people that it's exactly what you're trying to deliver to them, is that this is who I am, this is what makes me happy too, and this is why I'm sharing that with you. Because believe it or not, it might not do as well, but there's always those one or few that actually do get it and actually see it, and you might convert from that one or few that did stick out because they see the true genuineness behind that post. And I tell you all the time, that's why sometimes it's like there's no right or wrong. It's what's working for you and how you go about it, and also what fulfills you at the end of the day.
Yeah, because that allows you, right? Me sharing my quotes and stuff shows you my ethics and my work ethic and how I see the world, right? What's important to me. And I always say I'm looking for the people who are looking for me. I used to work for a commission. I don't do that anymore. So what I mean by that is this. I used to look at people. I don't care if I liked him or I didn't like him. I used to look at them and be like, $9,000, I'll be your best friend. 90 days until we close, I'll be your best friend. $12,000, I'll be your best friend for 90 days, right? $8,000, I'll be your best friend for 90 days. I didn't have to like them. I did it for the commission. Right? If you do social media right and you allow people to truly get to know you, they'll come to you. And only the ones that like you, the ones that don't like you, are not going to be hitting you up. Yep. Right? And they like you because you are just like them. So from now on, if you do this right, if you stick to your personality, right, you're going to find people who are just like you. So you never have to work with asshole again. I don't work with asshole anymore, not even for a commission.
You eliminate the tire kickers.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So, GoGo, let me ask you this. I see here that you are in EXP, and it's one of the fastest growing brokerages in the country. Why did you join EXP, and what's your experience with it?
Yeah, so it's been 3 years. I overused the word life-changing. To me, it was life-changing. So a few things. Before I switched, I was 8.5 years into real estate, and I was with Real Estate One for 7.5 years of it. And then Keller for almost a year in 18. And then I switched to EXP. Truly, if it wasn't for Keller and understanding profit share, I probably would have never looked at the model of EXP share with the revenue share. So the reasons for me were 3 major, but number one, I could not imagine being 67 years old and sitting in another open house. And if I stayed with any other brokers, that was the only way I can make money. In most brokerages, you make commission. That's the only way you make money, right? Most brokerages is not going to offer you ownership. Most brokerages not going to say like, oh my gosh, you did 52 deals this year. Here is your cap back. Not an option. Most brokerages can pay you, so said monthly, almost like a salary, right? That's what we call revenue share here. So my number one was, I'm a top producing agent and I want to earn my cap back. Real estate, are you going to give my cap back? Nope. Keller, are you going to give my cap back? No. EXP, are you going to give my cap back? Yes. Okay. That alone, reason number one. Reason number two, when I walked out of Real Estate One's office, 7.5 years of my life I spent with them. At that time, it was a quarter of my life. I spent a quarter of my life with them. You know what I had?
How much?
A box full of glass trophies and some pending deals.
Wow.
And then I went to Keller, was a top producer there. Guess what I had when I walked out of the door there?
What'd you have?
Another box full of glass trophies and some pending deals. But if I walk out of EXP today, 3 years in, I have hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s in stocks alone. Revenue share has changed our lives. Revenue share is, I literally could buy a brand new car every single month cash, like a very nice brand new car, every single month cash. Not only that, but I'm only able, with any other brokerage, I'm only able to build a local team, right? So I could have like a cute little GoGo's real estate team, 12 agents, Pinckney, Michigan, 9,000. I live in Pinckney, Michigan, guys, 9,000 population. If I build a team of 12 agents, like, we're the shit in town, right? But like that, we have over almost 800 agents in the Team GoGo organization in 40 different states and in 5 different countries. I could have not done that with any other brokerage. So if you're a builder, if you have a big vision and you want to change other realtors' lives, I don't know another place where you can do it internationally and remove that location that most brokerages will choke you with. No, you can only have this area. This is your sandbox. No, I want this. I want the world to be my sandbox, because I know agents everywhere because of social media, right? I know agents in Miami. I know agents in Israel. I know agents in Romania. I know agents in Kentucky. I know agents in Canada. And I want all of them to be my business partners. And I was not able to do that anywhere else.
Wow.
Work smarter, not harder.
Could you break down that profit share for any agents that are on here who might want to join EXP and possibly been wanting to learn a little bit more about it, but they've been scared to ask?
Yeah, so it's actually revenue share. Profit share is at Keller. So revenue share means that if you decide to grow the company, right? So you have a friend or two in real estate. You do not have to bring, I personally brought 200. I just hit my 200th agent that joined EXP with me personally. You don't have to do that. You do not have to bring a single agent to the company if you don't want to. But if you decide to do so, because you all have a friend or two in real estate, right? So if you decide to do so, and you do, and they decide to join the company with you, everybody, when they join the company, one of the first questions is, hey, who's responsible for you joining? You have to name your sponsor. So let's say in this case, they name me as their sponsor, right? I become their sponsor. They become what's called my first generation. So every agent that you personally bring to the company becomes your first generation. And the company says, if it wasn't for GoGo, Jessica would have never joined. So every time Jessica closes a deal, I get 3.5% of her commission, not from Jessica, from the company. So think of it this way. We have an 80-20 split. Everybody, when we close a deal, we pay 20% up to a 16,000 cap. That 20% that we pay in gets divided between the 7 people who brought us to the company, kind of like that 6 degrees of separation. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knew me, who knew you. When you close a deal, you pay your 20% to the company, you keep 80% and you run all the way to the bank, right? The 20% that you pay to the company, 3.5% comes to me, 3.8% goes to my sponsor, then 2.9 and yada, yada, different percentages. So that 20% gets divided between the 7 generation up. So think of it this way. They call it agent centric, right? If you grow the company, and it's called the revenue share, because when you grow the company and you bring producing agents to the company, you generate revenue to the company. They share that revenue with the agents who grew it. So if you bring agents, you get paid revenue share. You become Gary Keller. Right off the top, 3.5%. If you don't bring agents, that's fine. You still have the opportunity to earn your cap back. You still have the opportunity to get ownership because we are publicly traded and we get stocks every time we close, and every time you first close, your agents first close when you cap and when you ICANN. But we can also use 5% of every commission and buy stocks in the company at a 10% discounted rate. So it's like a coupon for a stock. So I get like, show me another stock in the world that you get a 10% off coupon for it, because I don't know a single one. So literally every time we close, I take 5% of every commission and I buy stock at a 10% discount. So I have equity. First of all, I have ownership in the company. But second of all, I have equity in that ownership every single time we close.
Well, and that's amazing. So do you guys stay at the 80-20 split, or does it increase?
No, you cap at 16. So everybody nationwide, we're in every single state. Everybody's at 16,000 cap. Everybody's 80-20. You can be in Kentucky or California, it doesn't matter. When you reach that 16,000 cap, which for me is about 8 deals, when you reach that, you're at 100%. In that period, so my anniversary is November 1st to November 1st. I capped in April. So from April to November 1st, I'm at 100%. So in this period, if I can do 20 more deals, and a deal is anything over $1,000 commission collected, is a transaction. If you can do 20 transactions, the 16,000 that you paid in, you get it back in the end of the year. It makes you an icon agent. So wow. I was be like, so that's, why wouldn't I switch? Because there's no other brokerage that's going to get my cap back. So that 16,000 is sitting in my retirement account as stocks to retire on.
Now
literally this house I live in right now, I could pay this house off cash right now from my stocks. I've been with the company for 3 years. Not off how much I own, like literally rebuy this house full price, cash from my stocks alone.
Does it restart? So let's say you close and you get to 100%. The following year, do you go back at the 80-20?
Yeah. So you get to icon every single year.
Wow.
Every single year, you put $16,000 in your retirement account.
It just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, you found something there that's a gold mine.
Yeah, it is the best company to be at. It is literally, when I say life-changing, it's life-changing. And the way I looked at it, it took me 3 years to make this, oh my gosh, almost 4 years to make the decision. Somebody tried to talk to me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's stupid.
4 years to get into it.
Yeah, because I listened to what I heard on the streets.
What was it that you were hearing?
Oh, back in the day, then it's penny stocks. I mean, when I joined, the stocks were $6 a piece. Right now, they're like 20-something, 30-something. And right now, it's really low. We were up as high as 80-something, almost 90. But think of it this way. Even though now the stocks are low at 20-something, I have stocks that I earned at $5 a piece. I still 4 times my money, if not 5 or 6, right? It's really, at least I have money to multiply, right? Because at other brokerages, I didn't have that opportunity.
No, they don't give you that at all.
Yeah, if you work for money, then you have to work at the place that pays you the most, in my opinion, or you can work hard or smart.
So GoGo, to really set yourself up, what is kind of the goal time frame of the amount of work, or what you're trying to get your team to be, to that certain level in EXP? How long is it going to more or less take you? And then what kind is that marker for you that you're like, boom, like this is what creating ultimate freedom is?
Yeah, I mean, that's just different. What my freedom number is and what your freedom number is might be a totally different freedom number, right? So I'm thinking freedom number like jet and yacht and, a helicopter. I actually have a screensaver on my laptop that's my jet with the helicopter pad on it.
I thought your husband was the one that buys everything.
He's going to buy it. I'm going to make the money. He's going to buy it, right? So just depending what your freedom number is, but I have this conversation with our agents all the time. What's your mortgage, right? So if your mortgage is $3,000 a month or $2,500 or $1,300 or whatever your mortgage is, wouldn't you like your broker to pay it? Because I sure would.
Yeah.
Right? So it started out at first of like, oh my gosh, they paid for my Netflix. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I paid for my mortgage. They paid for my mortgage and my car insurance. They paid for mortgage, Netflix, car insurance, and home insurance. Oh, they paid for this, and this. And it just snowballs. It just grows, right? Like, I don't understand why not every agent is at this company, because they just didn't stop to understand what they could have. And also, I think it's because we are so different than every other brokerage that it's like, yeah, it's too good to be true. Because that's what happened to me after I started. First, I fought it. Then I did my research, and then I was like, it's too good to be true. There has to be a small print somewhere.
So what was that aha moment for you after
I read the contract, and there was no small print.
And there was no what? Can you repeat that again? There was no what print?
Small print.
There was no small print.
Okay. That you have to be careful.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, even if all of those things that I heard, like the penny stocks, or the company can possibly give half of the profits away and, and still be profitable, yada, yada. I'm like, even if all that is true, I'm sure I can go back to Keller a real estate one, and they would love me to pay him another 30 grand every single year.
Oh,
right?
for sure. All day.
Yeah.
So the worst case scenario, then I was thinking, if this company falls apart and there is no stocks and there's no revenue share, I am already there because I already don't have stocks and I already don't have revenue share. So I was already living my worst case scenario. It can only get better.
That's right.
And that's a great perspective, especially now in this economy. I wanted to ask you something that I've been thinking about a little bit. So since real estate and everything, we're seeing inflation and the economy is, a little bit up and down right now. Where do you see the future? Where do you see the trajectory of real estate going? Because low inventory, inflation, what do you think is going to happen in the next coming, I guess, months or years that you see in real estate?
So I got in 11, right? So when I got in, it was literally the tail end of the foreclosures and short sales and stuff. And all of my friends thought that I lost my mind. They're like, you're getting into real estate, you're never going to make money. Like nobody can afford buying houses. Like look at all of the foreclosures that's sitting on the market for the last year, right? Like that's when I got in. But I got in with the idea that if I can figure out real estate at the shittiest time, how good could I have it when the time comes around, right? History always repeats itself. It's not like one day we're going to wake up and nobody needs to have roof above their head anymore. Like real estate is not going anywhere. Yeah. People have to live somewhere. The only difference is it seller's market or buyer's market? That's and then you as the agent, you just adjust. Oh, seller's market. Oh shit, buyer's market. Oh shit, seller's market. Oh shit, buyer's market. So I don't really care what's going to happen because all I need to do is adjust to the market and I'll be a top producing agent.
And that's what a lot of people forget about. In this industry, it's all about volume. And it doesn't matter if it's going up or if it's going down. At the end of the day, as long as there's volume and there's movement, you're going to make money in this market. Because even when there's a recession, people are short selling, whatever it is that they're doing, you're still making that commission. You're still making that money. So in real estate, if you want to think about it as an industry, it's probably one of the safest that you can get into. And it's one of the largest. And it's amazing that you went during that time because most people would not do that.
And adaptation. Because that's another thing a lot of people are scared to do is adapt in their business, especially if it's going really well for a long time. They freak out if they're like, whoa, what do I do now? All right, well, let's go back. Let's see how can we adapt, how can we pivot to what's working, stay in our industry, attack that. And like you said, if we have to adapt again, back and forth, we'll do it. But I think a lot of people don't think like that either. They're too scared to adapt back and forth.
They're like, oh my gosh, interest rates go up. Oh my gosh, prices are going up. Okay, well, then I work with buyers.
That's it.
Sellers.
Well, that's what happened during COVID. So during COVID, it was a buyer's market. And then right as COVID,
we're still riding it right now.
We're still riding it. But before COVID hit, it was a buyer's market. I remember it. Buyer's market. I was working with a lot of them. My team was. And then we went into immediately a seller's market. Right with around March, February.
You remember, like I went 11 years of my career, 10 years of my career, I've been preaching, do not ever make a sight unseen offer, ever. Fast forward COVID, you want this house? You have to make sight unseen or you're never going to get in. By the time you schedule it and you go in and you see it and make an offer, honey, it's sold. It closed already, right? So I'm like, no, times change, but you have to adapt to it. And then as long as you're flexible, right? I'm like, oh, wind's blowing from that way, adjust my sails. Oh, it's blowing from that way, adjust my sails. Right? It's always blowing from some direction.
Always. And I remember I had my clients, I was on FaceTime with them. And they're just like, hey, Bryan, let's FaceTime. Let's look at this property. Oh, cool. I like it. Offer. Never did ever think that was going to happen. And this has changed the industry for everybody. Now you can do these meetings through Zoom, FaceTime. It's a different market. It's amazing, though.
When I did listing appointments, I've never stepped the foot in on the house. Zoom.
Think about that.
I was like, can you show me that corner again? Is that right? You can't do anything. You just have to adapt. We're like, oh. So Michigan us as realtors were non-essential in Michigan. So I was like, we couldn't even, if you had two homes, if you had a lake property and your regular home, we weren't allowed to go to your second home. Like that's how shut down Michigan was. Wow. There was no open houses or even showing how it would enter someone's home, God forbid. But then you had to adjust. I'm like, but I have Zoom, but I have live, but I have a cell phone. And my clients have a cell phone. So how about we make a 7:00 appointment on my Zoom and the buyer's agents bring the buyer and I ask my sellers to be online, all four of us on Zoom. And then my seller walks around and the buyer asks questions. Can you open that closet door? How old is the roof? Oh my gosh, does your house smell like cat pee? I see a cat, right? And, well, that's uncomfortable, right? But they have to ask because they can't smell it, right? And then you can make an offer. You just adjust to it.
And how's Michigan right now? How's the market over there?
It's so crazy, especially now that the rates, are going up now. The buyers that got outbid of everything, now they're outbidding everybody else just to get in before they get higher again. So it's another crazy wave that we are hitting here. I don't know the rest of the world, but right now my agents are like literally we just had a thing last night, multiple bidding again. These buyers were outbid. I think my buyer's agent is their third agent. So they got outbid, I don't know how many times with the other two agents. Now they got outbid for the first time with us.
That's crazy. And a lot of these buyers, this market has really pushed out buyers that are not as strong purchasers. The people that are out there right now, you're seeing 10, 20% down payment, even
they
all
offer
cash.
$35,000 over.
35 and they've waived appraisal?
Yeah, still no. Cash.
That's crazy.
And you see the issues going down here in Florida with all the people moving from New York, California.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, but you're not coming to Miami. This is the funnest part of Florida.
No. I mean, I would love to, I guess, but every time I went to Miami, it was like a party time, right? So I can't imagine moving there with my kids.
All right, I give you that.
I've never had
That's
like
a good point.
I could give you that.
I'll give you that. There's certain suburbs.
Check out other parts of Miami. Like, check out other parts like Coral Gables, South Miami, Pinecrest.
If you're going to the beach, you're going to see the party.
Forget it.
Yeah. And that's my experience in Miami. So, but no, I wanted a neighborhood where there's a lot of kids in younger neighborhood. I wanted everything inside the neighborhood, like the school, so my kids could ride a golf cart to school. And I don't necessarily see that happening on your guys' side of the state.
No.
Like you guys don't have to.
You have to really get into it. You'll see some of the golf cart stuff if you go to like the areas that we mentioned, like Gables, Old Cutler, Pinecrest. You'll see some people driving their golf carts and.
Yeah, but you don't have the school inside of the neighborhood, though.
We do.
Depends
on the area that you're in.
Yeah, depends on the neighborhood. Depends on the neighborhood. Yeah.
I haven't seen. What are they called? A planned community, or I don't remember what they call them when everything is inside of the neighborhood.
Oh, I forgot what they called it, but we have a lot of those now.
Fixed or controlled or something like that?
No, there's no.
Never mind. We'll have to search it. We'll have to search it.
Anyway, we found one of those neighborhoods with a ton of kids, and the average age is 39. So it's a very, very young community. 25 minutes from airport, 25 minutes from the beach, 25 minutes from malls and restaurants. So I'm good.
There you go.
Can't wait.
And on the real estate side of things, business side of things, are you excited to be here as well in Florida for that?
Yeah. So we have about a little north of 150 business partners now, or agents that joined DXP with us from Florida. So we have a big community down there. We want to open an office in Miami, so I'll be right in your backyards. So we are planning on opening an office in Miami and one in Tampa as well. So then it will be more like a co-working space. Because most of our agents, they're not on my team, right? Like I brought a brokerage over from Homestead recently with 26 agents, not too far from Miami. So we have a lot of like solid agents, but we just need a place to work together. Totally. So we're going to have like a co-working space that we are opening with my title company, lender, and then myself.
So GoGo, let me ask you real quick, opening up this space, and obviously, with your social media, you were doing the real estate, bringing in a lot of leads in there for, closing on properties and getting them for properties. How about this shift now? Because you're building teams, you're bringing real estate agents in. How has that content shifted for you? And then what are some of the things that you're teaching these real estate agents so that way they can keep scaling?
Yeah, so I teach everything that I know, right? So we have 4 different coaching calls every single week. I used to coach individually one-on-one. I don't do that anymore because I can't justify I would have to charge you $9,000 and then it's not worth it, right? Now it will definitely would worth it, right? But not many agents could afford that. So I don't do one-on-one. Most of our group coaching calls or group coaching calls. Every Tuesday we do like an onboarding group coaching call every Wednesday. So then all of the systems that they get from the company versus what they get from the Team GoGo organization. Every Wednesday we do production. So I believe that you get paid for the hour what you bring to the hour. So my goal is I always train. Learn something new that you didn't know before, so you can do something new that you never done before, so you can have something that you never had before, right? So we do a lot of training every Wednesday's production. And I bring in the top 1% of the nation. And not only just production, because sometimes it's one thing to make the money, but it's a whole other thing to keep it. right? So the last Wednesday, we had my tax attorney in and just kind of talked about LLCs versus S Corp versus C Corps versus, collecting money as a licensed agent, just no LLC even. So I tried to bring in all kinds of things that not only going to make you more money, that's going to keep you more in your pocket. So we had our tax attorney in last Wednesday. Thursdays, we do technology. Even though I give my whole Google Drive to everybody and I'm very techy, we realize that many of our agents don't know how to use it. Right. So then we do technology training every single Thursday at 10 a.m. It's my right hand, Christy, and her right hand, Saeed. And they train anything from how to use KV Core to how to build automated drip campaigns, how to use your CRM program, how to create your yard signs, you name it, anything technology, how to use my lead tracker. I share everything. Right.
That's awesome.
So that, and then every Friday we talk to the agents that want to grow. So Fridays are agent attraction masterminds. So as you said, is like, I teach them from everything that I do, and then they get to choose. So even though we have almost 800 agents, about 40, 50 shows up to the agent attraction one on Fridays because they don't want to build a team, right? So if you don't want to build a team, or if you don't want to build a downline or organization, then you don't want to be on that call, because that's only what we talk about, right? So we hit them from every angle. We hit them production, we hit them technology, we hit them onboarding their own agents, or if they're building a team so they don't have to onboard it themselves. And then we hit them from agent attraction Fridays if they want to build a team or not.
That's amazing. And what would you recommend agents? So I've been seeing a lot of realtors that go into social media and they start posting. All they do is just houses after houses after houses. They don't post anything other than a home. What do you tell them?
There's no personality there.
And that's a lot of them.
Yeah, it takes a long time to see a home in mine, for example. So number one rule you have to learn when you're doing real estate is that you don't sell houses. We don't sell real estate, guys. We sell ourselves and our services. I'm selling me to you because I want you to use me as your realtor, right? Do realtors sell houses? Absolutely. That's what all we do, right? The question is who's going to sell that house? You get hired because they want you to sell that house. So when I do marketing, I market me all day long, every day. Is that shameless self-promotion? Because think of it this way. If I don't tell you how awesome I am, would you know? Nope. If I didn't put my 2 Comma Club award out there, holding it and typed up a half a pager of what is the 2 Comma Club award and how awesome it is and how awesome I am to getting one, right? Would you even know that I got one? No. Nope. If I don't tell you that I'm a top producing agent, would you know? If I didn't tell you that I'm number 1 social media marketing realtor in the state of Michigan for 3 consecutive years, voted by Property Sparks, one of the largest voting company, would you know? No. So it's my job to market me to you, so then you can make a decision one day to hire me. So no more houses. Periodically you can, right? Because you want to take a picture with somebody, but don't do the key and I just own the house and there's Jessica, right? Like that's so boring. So you definitely want to learn to market yourself. That's number 1. And you need to learn where you fit in on these platforms because they're totally different from one another. On Instagram, I can be me, right? Number 1 social media agent selling real estate in my bathing suit in Miami on the beach. I can totally do that on Instagram. I cannot do that on LinkedIn. Imagine if I posted that picture on LinkedIn. They would be like, oh, inappropriate.
Yep.
Right? So you need to understand the platforms, number 1. You need to understand what the heck you're selling. And number 2, who the heck you're selling to, who's your ideal client, right? And you just need to do more of that.
Powerful,
yeah.
Woo! I loved it.
So no more houses.
Yeah. Loved it. And that's why you're the number 1 social media marketing person out in Michigan.
Number 16 in the nation, and the first 15 have TV shows.
Oh, and she's coming for Florida now.
Oh, wow.
Man, GoGo, what can I say? I first of all, I really appreciate you, sharing your information, your knowledge, your value, not holding back either, which I know it's another thing too, where a lot of people sometimes are just scared to hold their tactics back or their strategies or their information. I really appreciate how open you are.
I'll start caring about your opinion when I can't pay my bills with it.
Facts.
Can I send my kid to college on your opinion?
No.
Nope.
Can I deposit it into my bank account?
Nope.
Can I retire on it?
Nope.
No way.
Then it doesn't matter.
That's right. Look at this powerhouse.
Man, GoGo, I like you a lot. You're keeping it real. I love it.
Damn, if we had... Look, I know you're a busy individual. Man, we're going to have to bring you back out here on live when you're down here in Florida. We're going to have to get you in the studio.
House is supposed to be ready in March.
Okay.
I can wait. And then the plan is this time we're only going to go down for a little bit because we need to let the boys finish school up here. So we're going to go down there, packing our stuff, and then probably we'll come back up here until August. And then when school starts, we'll move down there. The plan is we're going to live in Florida during school year. And then we're going to live in Michigan in the summer because I don't think I can do your weather in the summertime.
Oh, no.
I'm from Romania, so I'm used to -40. I'm not used to the opposite end. So I don't think I can.
We're tropical. We're Hispanic tropical. So
we're very humid.
We're very
here.
Caribbean, used to it. So we've adjusted.
So I'm going to be up here or Romania in the summer, and then down in Florida for about 9 months of the year. So you'll have plenty of time. If you want to have me in person, I would love to come.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Go. Where can people find you before we wrap things up? Where people connect with you, find you, ask you questions?
I have VAs everywhere. So the only thing that I haven't checked email or DM, I couldn't tell you how long, right? I have virtual assistants everywhere. You talk to Mariana when we schedule this. But if you want to get a hold of me personally, the only one that I check in person is Instagram, and that's GoGo's Real Estate. So on there, you're getting me personally. Also, if you want to learn more about me or everything that I do, or if you want to invite me to another podcast or an event or want to join EXP with me, right? Go to gogobethke.com. So my name.com, and anything you need to know about me, there's a button for it on the site.
GoGo, thank you so much. And the way we like to end it on the podcast is, what is the one biggest piece of advice you can leave off to all our listeners today? One single sentence.
There is no box. Do you know what that means?
Tell us.
Let me tell you that one. That's my favorite new life lesson. So I went to UPW, Tony Robbins, a couple months ago. And there was this guy on the stage, and he has the question of like, are you the type of person that lives outside of the box? Raise your hand if you're the type of person that feels like most of the time you live outside of the box, right? And I was like, 2 hands in the air. I was like, me. Like, I push it all the time. I don't break the law, but I break the rules all the time, right? So I was so proud of it. 2 hands in the air. The guy goes, there is no box. That box that you live in, you created it. You told the universe of how big you can be or how much money you can make or what you deserve or what you don't deserve compared to where you come from or compared to your nationality, your color, or race, or, oh, I'm a woman, I can be a millionaire, a billionaire because there's only 2 of them, right? No, yes, I can. I can do anything. But that box that you live in with the lid on, you put yourself in it.
Powerful.
Yeah, I love that.
Guys, get yourself out of that box. Stop creating a box for yourself. GoGo, what can I say again? Thank you so much. And guys, if you got value out of this podcast, this segment today, I just wanted you to take that one single thing that stuck out to you the most and start applying it literally today, not tomorrow, not the next day, but today, and start putting in that work. And most importantly, get yourself out of that box that you created yourself. If you got value out of this, we would appreciate if you like, subscribe, comment, share, because the more love you show us, the more love we can show back. Till next time on the Sweat It Out podcast.